Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Propagandacast with me, Imperial Dane, here on a lovely Saturday afternoon. And today we have a 1 versus 1 on not Angerville. Yes, indeed, it is not Angerville, it is instead Langres. Yes, a fascinating match in the wooded lowlands of Langres, where we shall be seeing the Allies and the Axis throw everything they have at each other, as they usually do in the bid to control France. So, for those that don't know, Langres has received some minor changes, most notably right here and here, making it so that the southern player can't so easily block off the northern player from actually getting out, which has been a bit of a problem since there used to be a stone wall here and no way of passage through here. So that's certainly always nice for the northern player. And in fact, let's go and look at him. Here we have Captain Helliar of the 4th Infantry Division, ready to take on the fight to Hans and throw him back to Germany, along with Gretel possibly, although Gretel might already be there. And in the southern corner, to lead the fight for the Wehrmacht, we have some Panzer Elite forces, 17th SS, BisZumSiego3o. Very not entirely sure what to say about that name actually, but a black Schwimmwagen, jet black, clearly the sign of something elite. Let's just hope he lives up to it. But we do see a Schwimmwagen, which is usually a bit rare, but we'll have to see what he does with it. 17th SS Ausklarungsbataillon, and in the northern corner we have, of course, 4th Infantry Division, Able Company, and let's have them fight each other. Schwimmwagen tugging around a bit, but finally getting a move on. Barracks going up, nothing unusual there.
Engineers, pay attention.
We'll have to see how that goes.
It'll be fun, they say. Engineers on deck.
Second engineer team hitting the field. We'll probably be seeing Panzergrenadiers, nothing unusual in that, although they do seem a bit delayed. Perhaps he's a bit slow in getting them off, I can't say. You'd usually have at least one Panzergrenadier team out by the barracks getting on the field. And what is this? A second Schwimmwagen, rather aggressive on the territorial capture right from the beginning. But of course also going to set him a bit back in the actual fighting force. Whoops, I do apologize. And engineers certainly going to have to compete rather heavily with these small vehicles. Amphibious jeeps, a sort of development of the Kubelwagen, and used rather well, for example, by reconnaissance units, in fact, since it of course allowed them to ford water and all such a bit more easily. Always nice and handy for reconnaissance troops. And we see the first Panzergrenadier team hitting the field. 17th SS Ausklarungstruppen slowly marching ahead. Will they get the Gewehr 43? I'm pretty sure that's going to be a yes. Usually always see it, more or less. Very rare that Panzer Elite commanders do not equip it, as it does really give them that slight edge in the start and certainly helps the Panzergrenadiers. So far none, but a second Panzergrenadier team is arriving. First team possibly waiting for him, and there we go. Gewehr 43 is being equipped. Very nice weapon, semi-automatic rifle. Well, not the first one, but the rather first that was actually equipped in larger numbers for the Wehrmacht forces, albeit in the Eastern Front they did snatch whatever they could from the Soviets and their SVT-40. And we see some riflemen trying to steal this munitions point, but quickly coming under fire from these Panzergrenadiers. Panzergrenadiers standing out in the open, not trying to take advantage of this building, but the riflemen on the other hand are quick to do that. Rushing in from all doors, one going down though before he managed to get in, probably Conrad and his shoelaces, firing away at these Panzergrenadiers who have chosen a rather unfortunate position. But the riflemen though don't feel that they can actually withstand this and are quick to retreat, losing another one right outside. Panzergrenadiers continuing to hunt them down, running past a clothesline with some underwear perhaps. Riflemen right here not joining in with the comrades, instead trying to seize some munitions, while the Panzergrenadiers are linking up with further Panzergrenadiers. A rather small squad assembling, 3 teams so far, 9 men. And we see the riflemen here reinforcing, and of course, what not? No further riflemen though being presented, so far only 2 rifleman teams, but 3 engineer teams, and a weapon support center. That's a bit fast. Usually you want at least 3 infantry teams, but we'll have to see where this goes. Riflemen though quite heavily outnumbered. I'm not entirely sure why Mr. Helliar is throwing these riflemen into it. A lot of them already wounded and dead with not much to show for it. In fact, only a slight scratch and possibly one dead Panzer Grenadier. Not really a good fight. Schwimmwagen coming under fire from these courageous engineers, fighting away with the grease guns, but not really managing much. Second rifleman team charging in, one already down on the road. Not entirely sure what they're trying to achieve on their own without any support. Taking heavy casualties, might be able to stop these Panzer Grenadiers or at least kill another, but no, they are instead forced to retreat, leaving behind many comrades, and the rest are reinforcing. And what do we see? A heavy machine gun coming out. Certainly not a bad idea, but it's certainly recommended a slightly larger rifleman presence and not throwing these away so easily and so singularly. Was certainly not the best choice, and we see mines going down here to stop any further harassment from Schwimmwagens. Just the thing is, they can detect mines, so it actually doesn't really stop them. But any Panzer Grenadiers or vehicles that might decide to come from here might certainly hit it. Engineers making a run for it. Riflemen continuing to reinforce, albeit very slowly. And the 30 caliber heavy machine gun is ready, moving. No, not moving in alone. Very good, Captain Helliar, not throwing away your heavy weapons like that. Excellent choice. Further Panzer Grenadiers out for him. So far 4 Panzer Grenadier teams, not a lot. But we do see a logistic company going up. Most interesting might mean he's just going straight for the Panzerjäger command. It might also mean increased squad sizes, possibly the munitions half track, which has had the fuel cost removed. And in fact, a lot of the Panzer Elite vehicles have had a reduction in population, which is certainly always nice. And we see a large force moving in. Flamethrowers riflemen not really using any cover though, not very good. And these engineers are certainly feeling it. 30 caliber opening fire. Panzer Grenadiers forced into a full retreat. Very nice, very nice. Perhaps this heavy machine gun might move up here, perhaps, to cover this area. Certainly wants to stand in cover, otherwise it might become a bit too easy target. And setting up. We'll have to see what happens. Panzer Grenadiers going back, and we see something being done in the logistic company, flashing blue, and the small gate shuttering as though a wild wind is turning through it. And the central point has been secured. Much hurrah for the Allies, I suspect.
We're losing ground out there.
Panzer Grenadiers having a bit of a nap, healing as defensive operations has gone up. Defensive operations is an excellent upgrade for the Panzer Elite, as it does mean also not just healing but also increased cooldown time for certain abilities, like for example the suppression fire for the Gewehr 43, but it also applies to vehicle who is near the base, I do believe, so generally a nice ability. And of course it also applies to any forward barracks you may set up, so again a really nice ability, and is certainly one I'd recommend getting. Panzer Grenadiers charging in, only one rifleman team stop it, and we see that increased squad sizes has been authorized, increasing the general size of the Panzer Grenadier teams. 5 teams in fact. So a lot of Panzer Grenadiers right now to hit the field can certainly be expensive to reinforce, but at the same time it really means a lot more firepower and of course a lot more survivability in the longer run. Engineers caught right out in the open with all of these Panzer Grenadiers. Really an aggressive administration of Panzer Grenadiers from the 17th SS Battalion. Perhaps a bit too excessive, as they still don't have any actual support units. It's still just all Panzer Grenadiers, one with Gewehr 43s. The Gewehr 43 itself was actually equipped for reconnaissance units mostly, so nothing unusual there. A medic station going up, and let's just briefly pause regarding the placement of medic station and medic bunkers and casualty clearance stations. I may have mentioned there are good places and there are bad places. Right by a road, right in the middle of everything, not good. You generally want them to be slightly behind the enemy line, not too close, for example, because right here it's rather exposed. For example, behind this building, where for example it could be protected from artillery, where it's also generally harder to get at, would be a good idea. Perhaps right here at the entrance, since this map is rather short in terms of distance from the central hotspots. It's of course also very nice to just place it there. It's certainly something Wehrmacht players do, but right here perhaps not the best choice. But let's continue and see what happens. Panzergrenadiers charging in, and of course already there, while setting up, it's coming under threat. And the engineers run away. The medic station is stopped. Riflemen taking a lot of fire. And goodness gracious, this heavy machine gun is in a terrible position. It's right out in the open, and of course with all these Panzergrenadiers, they can't just fire away with it before they are suppressed. There we go, they are suppressed, but they are not pinned. They can still fire. And there we go, a lot of fire. Several Panzergrenadiers going down though, so not all bad. But really, this heavy machine gun team really needs to get out there, as the Panzergrenadiers are able to just continue firing. 2 men down, a third left. Oh dear, and the entire heavy machine gun team has been cleared out in seconds, because Captain Helliar apparently forgot that they do need cover, because they can still be fired back at. And of course, with increased squad sizes, he is able to just send in his Panzergrenadiers to just grab it. So it's really a loss for Captain Helliar, and right now, while seizing this strategic point, thus cutting off him for most of the map, except for this point, which is in fact just barely and tenuously connecting everything else, he can't really get back at it, because he'll just run straight into heavy machine gun fire from that 30 caliber crewed by the dashing Panzergrenadiers of the 17th SS. And what do we see? A motor pool and an armored car. Very swift, very bold. We'll have to see how that goes, although I do still feel that the loss of that heavy machine gun was rather unfortunate and a grave mistake. Greyhound moving out. Well, we see armored skirts and a 50 caliber machine gun. That would certainly be most to its advantage, but apparently not, although currently not much to fear except that heavy machine gun, which could certainly do something. Charging right in and already taking a bit damage, but they are forced to retreat. So thus it is lost for posterity and for the American arsenal. And there we go, charging right into this throng of Panzergrenadiers. Nothing to really fear, no Panzer Shreks, and I'm not sure if they have anti-tank grenades. Anti-tank grenades are rarely seen actually, but we'll have to see. Engineers getting cut down though again. Helliar not using cover, not using terrain to his advantage, instead just moving across the open road, and of course getting a lot of men killed that way. Cover really should be something I'd recommend he works on. Of course, the moving through light cover, for example, just gives already there a 25% bonus in terms of being to hit. And there we see the jet black Schwimmwagens jetting around, one with a damaged engine though. Looks like the little boat engine is also on fire. Not good. And a Panzer Jäger command goes up. So we might see some assault rifles being equipped. We might also see armored cars, mortars, and whatnot else. Schwimmwagen, though already in fire, is now really going to catch fire, as these flamethrower engineers are quick to move in, knocking it out, blowing it apart, and the driver is smack dab on the ground. Second Schwimmwagen might also catch fire and be wrecked, but it looks like it's barely getting away. Mind you, flamethrowers, oh, they do fire a bit on the move, but really, oh dear. And let's hope he actually takes that point back. Panzergrenadiers really sizing up. I wonder how many teams he has. Let's in fact go check at these Hauptmann bis, and we see 6 Panzergrenadier teams. Absolutely excessive. A lot of men, and now assault rifles being equipped. This is certainly going to be a powerful combination. Let's of course not forget the heavy machine gun team. Medic station going up. Still very little infantry and very little to back them up, and goodness gracious, going for a tank depot so quickly. I do believe he's spending too many resources getting buildings instead of actually